In violence, the Earth was born. Giant plates shifted and collided. Wind and water carved the land's features. Life emerged. And at this very moment, Iceland is still in the throes of creation, born of fire and ice. It grew from the ocean depths less than 20 million years ago. A hotbed of geothermal activity that set the stage for a realm of remarkable biodiversity. Iceland is one of nature's latest creations. The animals that take to these shores are as restless as the land. Some flock here in massive throngs, then disappear. Others shift with the seasons, even changing their colors. And always there are newcomers, bringing new influences. Many travel great distances to reach here. This, after all, is the ends of the Earth. At the edge of the Arctic Circle, Iceland is a bustling outpost for migratory birds. That lure isn't lost on the Arctic tern. Every spring, it travels all the way from Antarctica to reach here. So eagerly do Icelanders await its arrival, it makes front-page news. The long-distance champions of migratory birds, these bathing beauties deserve a good soak. Hot springs and glacial ice make a fitting backdrop for a honeymoon. All over the island, thousands of terns band together and get down to the serious business of mating. Trees are few, so the terns must improvise. They build their nests right on the ground, not out of leaves or twigs, but lava stones. Nothing could be easier to find. Iceland boasts the largest lava field on the planet. And at least one of the island's 200 volcanoes spews forth every few years. In the 18th century, one eruption wiped out nearly a quarter of the country's population. But science paints another picture. The island sits atop the mid-Atlantic ridge, a geologic pressure point where the inside of the Earth is vying mightily for the surface. Quickly, life finds a foothold against the odds. Scruffy plants spring forth like hope eternal. Still, greenery has a hard go of it here. Barely a fifth of the countryside has any vegetation at all. To find Iceland's real wealth, you must follow the long tracks left by lava, now flowing with water out to the sea. There, molten rock meets the raging surf, a volatile alchemy that spawns a surprisingly fertile world. Home for Iceland's wildlife is a land forged by fire. Rugged shores, the product of millions of years of fitful unrest, now provide refuge. In late June, seals, including half the world's population of harbor seals, mob the island's vast rookeries to mate and give birth. Like the constantly shifting shoreline, the seals make a remarkable transformation, from sea to land creatures. They stake a precarious claim to these shores. The seal's flippers were engineered for swimming, not walking. Still, when it comes to staying perched, its strong stomach muscles are well suited to the land. But it's not muscle that makes it so well suited to the frigid climate. It's fat, a layer up to 15 centimeters thick, that protects it from both the cold and lean times. The seal's face is made for a watery world. Its large eyes and sensitive whiskers help it through the dimly lit depths. Nostril slits close tightly when it submerges. This is its home, underwater. It even sleeps here, surfacing for air without ever waking up. But now it's alert, searching for flounder, cod, and lemon sole. Many fishermen suspect the seals poach their catch. Guilty or not, many seals drown in fishing nets. Others are simply shot by the fishermen. Man and animal are competitors in one of the world's most fruitful fishing grounds. The secret to the success of these currents is a nutrient-rich mix of warm and cold waters. Just off Iceland's rocky shore, cold northern currents collide with the warm southern Gulf Stream, stirring nutrients up from the seabed. The churning brew is a tonic for kelp forests and a magnet for life. In summer's nightless days, the underwater community includes everything from massive blue whales to tiny krill. Many animals use the current as a sort of food delivery service. Soft corals, like Dead Man's Hand, anchor themselves to the rocks. With each tug of the tide, they unleash their tentacles in search of food. Barnacles seem to wave hello to passers-by, but they'd rather eat them than greet them. A crab, too, secures a perch, where it waits for its supper to come to it. But not all fishermen are so firmly rooted. The comb jelly propels itself with cilia, picking off minute prey. In the long Icelandic winters, It brings an eerie glow to the black night. A black guillemot snags a sand eel, its favorite catch, and carries it back to the rocky cliffs that stand as remnants of a volcanic past. Once this coast thundered with the roar of eruptions. Now a raucous assembly fills the air, as 50 million birds arrive every year to feast and mate. One of the most popular breeding colonies lies south of Iceland's capital, Reykjavik. Like a huge subdivision, it stretches out for 6 miles. Just offshore, countless more birds are attracted to the bizarre standing rocks, remnants of the ongoing battle between lava and the sea. Deserted except during breeding season, they're so inundated in late spring, they turn white from bird droppings. If the bird cliffs are a skyscraper, black guillemots have the garden apartment. Unlike some seafaring birds that fly great distances to hunt, they prefer to fish close to shore. Transparent inner eyelids work like goggles when the guillemot dives underwater. Their young are nestled in holes in the nearby rocks. Common guillemots live just upstairs, and truly these birds of a feather have flocked together. The cliffs, carved by geological upheaval, are their home. Chicks are kept well back from the edge. Kittiwakes claim the higher ground. Most of the year, these gulls roam the open sea. They seem to enjoy the brief camaraderie of summer. With an unfailing homing instinct, they find their way back here every year. All through the breeding season, an adult stands guard to prevent youngsters from taking the big step down. The chicks seem to instinctively understand the danger and sit remarkably still in their rocky crib. The parent brings food to its young in a regurgitated ball, which it doles out a bit at a time. Some children are never satisfied. The penthouse is taken by Iceland's most charming summer visitors. 2 million puffins, the world's largest colony, nest here. Like the black guillemots, the puffins come for the sand eels. Their beaks are studded with hooks on which they can stack several fish at once. The cliff is pocked with nests where the birds have settled. Dug only with their beaks, the breeding holes are up to 3 feet long. Pairs return to the same hollow year after year. Puffin marriages often last a lifetime. They wear their comical-looking makeup only for the mating season. The rest of the year they lead solitary lives, and their coloring will be drab. They're a friendly lot. Mates greet each other with an Eskimo kiss. The skua doesn't bother with such niceties. It has a personality as explosive as the nearby volcanoes. Even with its own kind, it bickers constantly, though the fights seldom amount to more than an aggressive display of wingspan. Such testy characters need a lot of space. Skuas build their nests over 80 meters apart on the wide coastal plains. In an exposed place, a mother can't be too vigilant. If danger should approach, she'll push her chick deep into the earth. Its mottled plumage also gives it some protection. It must grow quickly, with winter just 2 short months away. 10 times a day, the parents bring food to the voracious chick. Father does most of the hunting, or raiding, as the case may be. Like a pirate, the skua attacks puffins both for their flesh and for their fish. The Arctic fox is Iceland's only native land mammal. After a winter of want, chicks and eggs are a welcome addition to the menu. Or a fallen adult will do just fine. In early July, the kits emerge from the den. Like the island they live on, they are creatures of change. Soon their summer coats of brown will blanch to winter white. When the mother arrives, she gets an exuberant greeting. Of course, it's not Mom the kits are interested in, it's what she's brought. Even a lifeless gull proves quite a challenge to this kit. How to get through all of those feathers? For now, they're a close-knit family. But their cunning play will shift to more rough and less tumble when they get older and need to establish their own territories. As they spread out, they'll run the gauntlet of Iceland's farmers, who shoot them on sight. Though the foxes may yet have the last laugh. In Iceland, agriculture is a dying profession. It's cheaper to ship food in than try to grow it in this unforgiving climate. Increasingly, islanders are forced to leave their farms. The house is in ruins, but it's hardly deserted. Pushed out of the overcrowded coastal breeding sites, these enterprising young guillemots have colonized man-made cliffs. Meanwhile, the farmers have moved to town. Urban numbers have tripled since the turn of the century. For nothing is static in Iceland. Newcomers keep arriving. The celebrated Arctic terns have successfully brought another generation into the world. The chicks are insatiable. Amazingly, an adult can pick out its own young in the throng by their voices. In only 3 weeks, these chicks will be fledglings, 10 times the size they are now. They need to eat constantly, so they'll be strong enough to fly all the way back home to Antarctica. That presents a monumental task for their parents. But 24 hours of daylight means the terns can hunt round the clock. And despite a commute thousands of kilometers long, the rich bounty of Iceland's coast keeps them coming back year after year. Already there's a chill in the air. Soon the Arctic terns will lead the retreat of the seafaring birds to their winter homes. When they return to Iceland next spring, will it be the same? For just as the chicks of summer grow and mature, this island is in perpetual metamorphosis. Before our very eyes, it creates itself anew, with volcano and glacier, trembling earth and pounding surf. Fire and ice.
And tomorrow, the wildlife of Zimbabwe at the same time.